Good evening, everyone. Welcome to iQuanta. So, we are back with another session of quantitative aptitude formula revision, which is going to be very helpful for your all IPMAT exams. All right, and till now we had three sessions where we discussed all the formulae related to number system. So, if you are looking for all the concepts related to numbers in one place, you can watch those videos. We have also discussed few examples to understand the formula clearly. Okay. Today onwards, we are going to continue our session, and today we are going to start with arithmetic. Topics are percentages, profit, loss and discount, ratio, proportion and variation. All right. All right. So, let us start with our first concept from percentages. Okay. Now, in case of percentages, what we can say is starting with the basic concept, that is what is percentage. So, x percent, if you want to convert a given percentage value into fraction, that will be x percent is equal to x by 100. And then if I want to find that x is what percent of y, then this will be equal to x upon y into 100. Then if we need to find that x is what percent more than y, x is what percent more than y, then in that case we are going to write it as, so as you can understand, x is greater than y here, take the difference x minus y upon y into 100. Then if x is less than y, then we can say x is what percent less than y. So comparing two different values, x is what percent less than y. So in this case y is greater, so it will be y minus x upon again y, because we are comparing with respect to y. Okay, so y minus x upon y into 100. Then the next thing that we can say is x percent of y will be same as y percent of x, that is equal to xy upon 100. So if you ever need to find out percentage values, okay, then you can use this, where x percent of y is also equal to y percent of x. So you can interchange the values, okay, interchange the values as for your comfort. Then let us go to the next part, which is how do we convert a ratio into percentage, okay, or any value. Let us say we need to convert a by b, converting a value to percentages. What we can say, if we have a value which is a by b, so multiply this by 100 and that's your percentage, like a by b is equal to 100 a by b percent. Okay. Hello Akshata, hello the Joker. Okay. So now if we ये आते हैं अक्षता, basically we are, as per the session suggest, it says formula revision, right? So we are not practicing questions here, we are only revising the formula. So if you know this, it's really good for you, but I am sure there will be few things which you are unknown of, and you can get that from here. Okay, is that clear? Now a by b is equal to 100 a by b. So this conversion is important. Why is this important? Because sometimes some percentage will be used in the question which you are unaware of, and in that case you can convert it into corresponding fraction and solve the answer. Like let us say if I ask you what is 14.28% of 84. Now if you directly use this as 14.28 upon 100, into 84. This could be very calculative, right? This could be very calculative. But if you know that 1 by 7 is equal to 100 upon 7%, which is equal to 14 2 by 7%, which is same as 14.28%, then you can solve it very easily. Then you can write it as 1 by 7 into 84, and this will give you 12 very easily. So this is the importance of knowing the conversion of a fraction into percentages. Okay. Now few important conversion that you should know is 1 by 2 is equal to 50%. 1 by 3 is equal to 33 1 by 3%, or we can also write it as 33.3%. 1 by 4 is equal to 25%, and if you take the multiple of it, which will be used also, which is 75%. Then we can say 1 by 5 will be equal to 20%, and in case of multiples of 1 by 5, we can take 2 by 5, which will be equal to 40%. You can take 3 by 5, which will be equal to 60%. Then comes 4 by 5, which is equal to 80%. Okay. Then 1 by 6 will be equal to 16 4 by 6%, or 16 2 by 3%. 16 2 by 3%, which is equal to 16.66%, or you can also round it off and make it 16.67%. Then comes 5 by 6, which is equal to 83.33%. Then comes 1 by 7, which is equal to 14.28%. You can consider few of its multiple, okay, like 28.57% and so on. All right. After this, few more values which are important, like 1 by 8. 1 by 8 is equal to 12.5%. 3 by 8 is equal to 37.5%. 5 by 8 is equal to 62.5%. And then 7 by 8 will be equal to 87.5%. Then comes 1 by 9. 1 by 9 will be equal to 11 1 by 9%, which can be written as 11.11%. 2 by 9 will be equal to 22.22%. 4 by 9 will be equal to 44.44%, and so on. So check the pattern. 1 by 11, 1 by 9, 11.11%, 2 by 9, 22.22%, 4 by 9, 44.44%. So whenever you see these kind of fractions like 77.77% is 7 by 9. So you can convert it into fraction and then solve the questions easily. Then comes 1 by 11, which is equal to 9.09%, or if we write it in mixed fraction, sometimes you will get the fraction like this, 1 by 11%, which is equal to 9.09%. What is 2 by 11? It will be 18.18%. What is 3 by 11? This will be 27.27%, and so on. So till here, these are important conversion that you should know. Although 1 by 12 is 8.33%, 1 by 13 7.7%, 1 by 14 7.14%, there is no limit to this. But what you can do, you can know these values, you can remember these values, and it will be very helpful while solving the percentage problems. Okay. Now after this, what do we need to learn in percentages, right? So what we can say, let's say there is a value x, there is another value y which is achieved by increasing the value x by a%. Then another value z is achieved by increasing the value of y by b%. And the total change from x to z is p%. So what do we say? We say that p is successive equivalent or successive percentage of A and B. P is successive percentage of A and B, and we say P is equal to A plus B plus AB upon 100. This is how you find the successive percentage. All right. So if there are multiple changes, you can use this. All right. Charvi, we are going to have geometry revision session very soon. Okay. So just keep watching our sessions. Now let's say successive percentage, let's say a value is increased by 10% and then it is increased by 30%. What will be the successive change? It will be 10 plus 30 plus 10 into 30 upon 100, which will be equal to 43%. Then let's say we have a change of 30%, then we have a decrease of 10%. So what do we do here? We can take 30 minus 10 minus 30 into 10 upon 100. So this will be equal to 30 minus 13. So overall change in that case will be 17%. Then again, if we have decrease of 30% and a decrease of 10%, in that case, what will be the total decrease? So it will be minus 30 minus 10 plus 30 into 10. Minus minus will become plus. So minus 40 plus 3 minus 37%. Now this can be also understood in this way that a shopkeeper is providing you 30% discount. Then on top of that, he is providing you 10% more discount. So what is the equivalent discount you are getting? It's not 40% discount. It will be 37% discount. All right. Okay. Now, if there are three successive changes, then what do we do? Like let's say we have a successive change of 20% increase, then we have a decrease of 25%, then we have an increase of 40%. What is the equivalent percentage change in total? What is the equivalent percentage change in total, right? So in this case, let's say instead of 25, let's take this 50% decrease. Okay. So what will be the equivalent percentage change here? Can you tell me, anyone? Can you tell me if a value is increased by 20%, then decreased by 50%, then again increased by 40%, what will be the equivalent percentage change in the original value? How do we calculate this? Any idea here? I will wait till you answer this question, right? So for 2% changes, it's very easy to calculate. You can simply use the formula. If there are 3% changes, how do we calculate it? Right? So in this case, you don't take all three together. Okay, you try to solve two of them first, and that two can be any two. You can choose any two to solve. So if I take this one, what will be the successive percentage change? 20 minus 50 minus 20 into 50 upon 100. So this will be equal to 20 minus 60, which is equal to 20, right, minus 60. Yes, this is minus 40%. The change is minus 40%. Now we will take this one and use the successive formula. So minus 40 plus 40. Take this. Minus 40 plus 40 minus 40 into 40 upon 100. So this will be cancelled out. We get minus 16%. So overall change will be minus 16%, means the value will decrease by 16%. You can also solve this in this way, that take the value as 100. If I am taking the value as 100, then increase it by 20%, this will become 120, then decrease it by 50%, this will become 60, then again increase it by 40%, you are getting 84. So 100 to 84, the change is 16, right? So decrease of 16%. All right. Hello Kushi, how are you? We are doing a revision of percentage, profit loss discount and ratio. All right. And in between if required, we are going to discuss few questions as well. So you can say from 100 to 84, the change is 16%. It's decreased by 16% and this is the same value. This is what we know as successive percentage change. All right. Now, next we are talking about multiplication factor. Multiplication factor. All right. So, how do we use multiplication factor? So, we say X% increase or decrease. X% increase or decrease in the value of A. Let's say this is equal to multiplication factor into A or K into A. Let's say K into A is equal to K into A. K into A. This K is known as multiplication factor. This K is known as multiplication factor equivalent to X% increase or decrease, whatever is required. Okay. So what we can say, the multiplication factor will be equal to 1 plus X by 100 if we are talking about increase for X% increase. Okay. And we can say multiplication factor will be equal to 1 minus X by 100 and this is for X% decrease. Okay. Now, if we are required to find for different percentage changes, what will be the multiplication factor? Let's say percentage change and their multiplication factor with respect to this percentage change, what will be the multiplication factor? So if this is 10%, the multiplication factor will be 1.1. Okay. Or in fraction you can write it as 11 upon 10. If the change is 20%, so I am denoting plus and minus. Plus is for increase, minus is for decrease. So this will become 1.2 or you can say 6 by 5. 1 plus 20 by 100 is nothing but 6 by 5. If it is plus 25%, 25% is 1 by 4. So this will become 1.25 or 5 upon 4. And if we talk about the decrease, let's say if this is minus 10%, then you can use minus 0.9, sorry, you can use 0.9 to multiply the given value to find 10% decrease, okay, or 9 by 10. If the decrease is 20%, what will be the multiplication factor? It will be 0.8 or 4 by 5. If the decrease is 25%, the multiplication factor will be 0.75 or it will be 3 by 4. Okay. Hello Shriyanshi, how are you? कैसी चल रही है practice? Okay. So is this clear to everyone? This multiplication factor, is this clear to everyone? बताओ कोई doubt है इसमें? No doubts. All right then. Then what else do we need to understand in case of percentages? So there is this golden ratio that we need to understand. Okay, what is that golden ratio? So let's say uh, A is increased by a value, A is increased by a value, and then again we are getting A. Okay, so for what values we can do this? So you can, in this type of golden rule, if x is increased by 1 by x, A is increased by 1 by x, if A is increased by 1 by x, so what value x should be multiplied so that we get A again, with what percentage A should be decreased. A is increased by 1 by x, okay, like A is increased by 20%. Then with what percentage A should be decreased so that it becomes the original value itself. All right. So what we can say, it should be decreased by 1 upon x plus 1. Okay, 1 upon x plus 1. And if, for example, let's take one example. Let's say a value is increased by 20%. A value is increased by 20%, which is equal to 1 by 5. A value is increased by 1 by 5. With what value it should be decreased so that we get the original value, which is 1 by 6. So this will become 16.66%. The value should be decreased by 16.66%. Is that clear now? है ना? Let's say price is increased by 30%. With what value it should be decreased? Price is increased by 10%. With what value it should be decreased to bring to the original value? You can use this method. Okay. Now similarly, we can say if A is decreased by 1 by x. If A is decreased by 1 by x, with what value it should be increased to achieve the original value? Okay. Like if A is again decreased by 20%, 20% is equal to 1 by 5. So the value is decreased by 1 by 5. With what value it should be increased to get the original value? So it should be 1 by x is 5, x is 5. So x minus 1 will be 4. So it should be increased by 1 by 4, which is equal to 25%. So the value should be increased by 25%. Okay. I hope this is clear, right? 1 upon x plus 1. Yes, that is absolutely correct, Sriyanshi. Now, same concept can be used when we have situation like A into B is equal to constant. A into B is equal to constant. This is fixed. Okay. Then again we can say if A is increased by 1 by x, then B should be decreased by 1 by x plus 1 to keep the product constant. And if x is decreased by 1 by x, then B should be increased by 1 by x minus 1 to keep the product constant. All right. Apart from that, there is another version of this, which is if we say A into B is equal to C. Okay. And the change in ABC is given. The change in A is, let's say, A%. The change in B is B%, and the change in C is C%. Then what we can say, that C will be successive of A and B, means C will be equal to A plus B plus AB upon 100. All right. We can use this. Where do we use this? Like, let's say there is a rectangle, and in case of this rectangle, the length is increased by, let's say, 20%. The length is increased by 20%. The width or the breadth is increased by, let's say, 30%. What will be the change in area? So we know that length into breadth is equal to area. length is increased by 20%, breadth is increased by 30%, area is increased by, let's say, x%. What we can say? X will be equal to 20 plus 30 plus 20 into 30 upon 100. This is cancelled out. So the area will increase by 56%. है ना? कुछ भी यहाँ पे assume करने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can directly solve these type of questions. All right. So these are the things that we need to understand in case of percentage. If you understand these things, you won't have any problem solving any type of percentage questions, right? And these questions will be used frequently in other topics of arithmetic, like profit, loss and discount, right? We can say simple interest and compound interest. Then we can say average mixture alligation, time, speed and distance. In all those situations, these will be used frequently. Okay. So let's come to profit, loss and discount. Profit, loss and discounts. Now in case of profit, loss and discount, what are the things that we need to learn? First we need to learn cost price, okay, selling price, then we can say profit, then we can say loss, then we need to learn about profit percentage, loss percentage, then comes marked price, which is denoted by MP, then comes markup percentage, then comes discount, right? So how do we find the relation between these many keywords? So one thing that you should remember, that this triangle, cost price, then mark price and selling price, mark price and selling price, like this. From cost price to mark price, M%, the markup percentage. The markup percentage is M%. The profit percentage is P%. Loss is L%, and discount is denoted by D%. Then MP to SP. If discount is applied on mark price, we get selling price. Cost price to selling price, it will be profit percentage. Now we can figure out all the formula. What we can say? That selling price will be equal to cost price plus profit. Okay. Second, selling price can also be written as cost price minus loss. Then third one, we can say that selling price can be written as, now before we go to selling price, we can also say that selling price can be written as cost price into 1 plus P by 100, where profit. And how do we calculate this profit percentage? So we can count the profit percentage. P is equal to the profit value divided by cost price into 100. This is our profit percentage P. And then again we can find selling price if loss percentage is given, which is cost price into 1 minus L upon 100. What is L here? How do we calculate L? L is loss upon cost price into 100. Now using this, we can find cost price when selling price is given, like cost price is equal to selling price divided by 1 plus P by 100. So if selling price and profit percentage is given, you can use this formula. Then we can find cost price as selling price divided by 1 minus L upon 100. If selling price and loss percentage is given, we can use this one. All right. Now, this is the relation between selling price and cost price, profit, loss. Now let's involve the mark price and the discounts as well. So note it down. and then we will check further concepts. Okay. Now, again using this triangle of cost price, mark price and selling price, we are going to figure out the relation between these three. So, from cost price, if markup percentage are applied, mark price is achieved. From mark price, discount percentage are applied to achieve selling price, and from again cost price, profit or loss percentage is applied to get selling price. So, what's the relation that we can find between mark price, cost price and selling price? So, first of all, we can say mark price is equal to Cp into 1 plus M upon 100. Then we can say selling price is equal to MP into 1 minus D upon 100. Right? Then what else? We can find the relation between these three percentage changes. How do we do that? Can I say that selling price is equal to MP into 1 minus D by 100 as well as Cp into 1 plus P by 100, right? So, from there we can say MP upon Cp is equal to, this will be 100 plus P divided by 100 minus D. Then again MP upon Cp, what will be MP upon Cp? It will be 1 upon M by 100. This will be equal to 100 plus P divided by 100 minus D. Now this is a direct relation between markup percentage, profit percentage and discount percentage. If any two of these three has been given in the question, you can use this to find the third value. Like markup percentage is given, profit percentage is given, you can find the discount percentage. Profit percentage is given, discount percentage is given, you can find the markup percentage. Only using this formula. Then again, if you check this, we have just learned about successive percentage. M percentage is being applied on cost price. New value is mark price. Then D percentage is applied on mark price. Then we get selling price, which is P percent more than cost price. So again, we can say that P is successive of markup percentage and discount percentage. So P is equal to M minus D minus MD upon 100. This is another relation between these three values. Okay, if you are practicing questions from profit, loss and discounts, you must have gotten questions like this, where two of these three values are given. You need to find the third value. All right. So either this one or this one you can use very easily. Let's say profit and discount is given, you can use this one to find markup percentage. If markup and discount is given, you can use this formula to use to find profit percentage. All right. All right. Any question here? If you have any question, then let me know. Okay, no question. Then there is a part of profit, loss and discount which is very interesting, and that part is known as faulty balances. Now, in case of faulty balances, a shopkeeper is promising a customer to give a particular weight, but he is giving a weight lesser than that. So, the weight that he is giving in actual is known as actual measurement, and the weight that he is promising to give is known as faulty measurement. Like he is saying his customer that he is giving 1 kg, but instead of that he is giving only 800 grams. So, in this case 800 grams will be actual weight and the 1000 gram will be faulty weight. So, in that case there is a profit to the customer, right? How do we find that profit? So, in case of faulty measurement we can say profit percentage is equal to faulty measurement minus actual measurement divided by actual measurement into 100. Okay, this is how you can calculate it. This is how you can calculate the profit percentage in case a shopkeeper is cheating its customer by giving lesser weights. Okay, now there could be multiple ways where a shopkeeper can cheat his customer. What are those ways? So, one way is the basic, the original way, where he is charging his customer more price than his cost price. Like he is buying 1 kg rice in 100 rupees, but he is selling it in 120 rupees. So, this is direct profit, which is 20% here. Then the second way is he can give less weight, right, which is this one. Then the third way is mixing impurities, right. So, in case of mixing impurities, if a person is mixing X% impurities, then there is a direct profit of X%. All right. So, in that case, there could be multiple ways of finding different type of profit with different ways of cheating, right. So, how do we calculate if there are multiple cases given in one question? Then how do you calculate the overall profit? Okay. So, in case of overall profit, what you can do is overall profit percentage. To find this, write down SP upon CP is equal to R1 upon I1 into R2 upon I2 into R3 upon I3 and so on. Where what is Ri? Where Ri is in return in ith case. Okay. What is II? This is investment in ith case. So, in each case you need to carefully find out what's his investment, what's his return, and you can apply all of them together. You get the ratio of selling price upon cost price. From there you can find the profit percentage. Okay. Now, you can also find the profit percentage in each different case and take the successive of it. Okay. Take the successive of it and find out the value. All right. Now, what else do we need to learn in profit, loss and discount? Like if it is given that there are some items are free if you buy some items, right. So, how do you calculate the discount, the actual discount percentage there, right. So, let us see. So, we can say one item is free. One item is free. with 1. One item is free with if you are buying one. Okay. So in that case, the discount percentage will be 1 by 2 into 100, which will be equal to 50%. Means you are buying a total of 2 items, and of those, one of them is free. You won't have to pay for one, but you are buying 2 items. So of that, you are getting discount on 1. So this will be a 1 by 2 into 100. Okay. Then it says, let's say buy 3. Buy 3, get 2 free. Buy 3, get 2 free. Means I am buying 3, I am getting 2 more free. Means I am buying a total of 5. There could be 2 different meaning of this. It says buy 3, get 2 free. Means out of 3, 2 are free. Right? Out of 3, 2 are free. Then we say that the discount percentage will be 2 by 3, which is 66.67%. Hello, Mr. Pro Player. And if it says that by buying 3, you are getting 2 more free. Okay, you are getting 2 for free. Then it's total 5 items. Out of that, those you are getting 2 free. So it will be 2 by 5 into 100. So 40%. Okay. So I hope this discount part is clear, that how do you calculate the discount in these kind of situations. All right. Now, in case of profit, loss and discount, this was it. But we can talk about the partnership. Okay, we can talk about partnership. Partnership is also part of profit, loss and discount. So let's say that persons P1, P2, P3 till Pn are investing amounts A1, A2 till An, okay, in a business all together for time period T1, T2 till Tn, then the profit will be shared in the ratio. The profit will be shared in the ratio. In what ratio it will be shared? So it will be A1 into T1 is to A2 into T2 is to An into Tn. Means total investment into total time. Right? The investment made by a person into the time for which his amount was invested in that business. This is the product where the profit will be shared. All right. Now, in case of ratio, proportion and variation, ratio, proportion and variation. What do we know about the ratio? That if there is a value A by B is equal to, let's say 4 by 5, okay. If A by B is equal to 4 by 5, what do we know from this ratio? Then we can say that A is 4x and B is equal to 5x, okay. A is equal to 4x, B is equal to 5x, okay. Means if you multiply a ratio with the same value on the numerator and denominator, the ratio does not change, right? The ratio does not change. So if A by B is 4 by 5, I can assume A as 4x, B as 5x. X could be any value. X could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or x could be fraction as well, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5. Okay. So what we can say that if a by b is equal to 4 by 5, then this can be 8 by 10 as well. This can be 12 upon 15 as well. This could be 16 upon 20 as well, and so on. Means this could be any 4x upon 5x. Now if I divide the value by same factor, it will still be the same. A by b is equal to 4 by 5. This will remain same if I divide it by same value. Like a by b is equal to 4 by 5, then still it will be same as if I write it 4 by n upon 5 by n. Okay. Now what do we do if any ratio is given in fraction, like a is to b is to c is equal to 1 by 6 is to 1 by 8 is to 1 by 15. So how do we know? Now if ratios are given in fraction, it's a little difficult, थोड़ा सा difficult है यहाँ पे recognize करना कि इसकी exact value किसकी कितनी share है ना? So we try to convert it into integers. How do we do that? Take the LCM of 8, 6, 8 and 15. If I take the LCM of 6, 8 and 15, what do we say this value will be? 15 and 8 are co-prime to each other. So 15 into 8 is 120. 120 is the LCM. So we can multiply all of this value by 120, right? I can write it as 1 by 6 into 120, 1 by 8 into 120, 1 by 15 into 120. This will not change the ratio, right? Because we are multiplying it by same value. So this will be equal to 20 is to 15 is to 8. So this ratio and this ratio, both of them are same thing. So whenever you are getting a ratio in fraction, you should convert it into integers like this. Okay. And the properties that is used here, if you multiply the numerator and denominator or the elements in a ratio by the same factor, the ratio does not change. Okay. Now we can learn about merging of ratio. Merging of ratio. Now let's say it's given that A is to B is equal to M is to N, and it's given that B is to C is equal to N is to P. Then what we can do to find how do we merge these ratios, like how do we find A is to B is to C? So what do we do here? Multiply M into N, then N into N, then this. Okay, let's change this. Let's say this is P into Q. This value is P is to Q. Then how do we write A is to B is to C quickly? There are lots of methods, but this is the quickest one. How do we do it? So multiply MP. So it will be MP is to NP is to NQ. This is the ratio of A is to B is to C. Okay. For example, let's say we have A is to B is equal to 3 is to 7 and B is to C is equal to 2 is to 9. What we can say that A is to B is to C will be equal to 3 into 2 6, 7 into 2 14, 7 into 9 63. So you can see how quickly we can find the ratio between ABC here. 6 is to 14 is to 63, right? 3 into 2 6, 7 into 2 14, 7 into 9 63. All right. Now after this, comparison between two ratios. Comparison, how do we do the comparison between two ratios? So first we are going to consider a ratio with similar property, like first point we can say if a by b is a fraction, which is, we are always going to consider a positive ratio here. If a by b is greater than 0 but less than 1, then we can say that a by b will be less than a plus x divided by b plus x, given that x is positive. For example, we can say that 7 upon 17 will be less than, now if I add 15 in both the, not 15, let's say 20 in both the values, we get 27, we get 37. So this value will be less than this value. Okay, if you see that the difference between numerator and denominator is same, you can use this concept. Then the second one, where if the ratio a by b is greater than 1, then we can say that a by b will be greater than a plus x divided by b plus x, given that x is positive. Now again we can take another example. Let's say this value is 13 upon 20. Now if I add same value, let's say 12, so what do I get? I get 25 here, I get 32 here. So it could be a little calculative before we find which one is greater or which one is less, right? But you can check the difference is same in the numerator and denominator. We can say that 13 by 20 is certainly greater than 25 by 32. All right. Oh, wait a second. I have taken the opposite value. I should have taken this as 20 upon 13 and 32 upon 25. So this value will be greater than this value. Okay. You don't need to do anything. Okay. Now there are many ways where you can compare two ratios, where you can make the denominator equal, right? We can make the denominator equal in two ratios. We can make the numerator equal in two ratios and then compare. Then we can also find the percentage change in two ratios, and then we can find which value will be bigger or lesser. All right. Like one general method, let's say there is a value a by b, okay, and a is changed by x%, b is changed by y%. We are talking about positive values here, okay, not negative. We are getting c by d. Now if it's given that if x is greater than y, then what do we say? Then we say c by d will be greater than a by b. Okay. If the change in numerator is bigger than the change in denominator, then the new fraction will be greater than the previous fraction. Okay. Similarly, if it is given that x is less than y, means the change in denominator, the percentage change in denominator is less than the percentage change in, the percentage change in numerator is less than the percentage change in denominator, then we can say that c by d will be less than a by b. And if it is given that if x is equal to y, then we can say that a by b will be equal to c by d. If numerator and denominator are changed with same percentage value, then the new ratio will be same as the previous one. Okay? Is that clear? If you want an example, let me tell you, let's say we have a value 11 upon 20. We have another value which is 16 upon, let's say 27. then how do we calculate which value is bigger? Okay, which value is bigger, how do we calculate? Can you tell me this? So, what do? We will check what is the percentage change in the numerator. Percentage change in the numerator is 5 out of 11. 5 out of 11 means 45.45%. And the percentage change in denominator is 7%, right? Which is 35%. 7 out of 20, which is 35%. So 45.45 is definitely greater than 35. So in that case, the new value will be greater than the previous value. So in this way, you can basically compare any two fraction. Any two fraction, right? Think about this. In this way, you can compare any two given fractions if required. If none of the concepts work with respect to fractions, you can use this. Now, what else do we need to learn in ratio? So, in case of ratio, we can say that if we have componendo and dividendo concept, componendo and dividendo. What is componendo and dividendo concept? If it is given that A by B is equal to C by D, then we get three results. One result, which is A plus B upon B, will be equal to C plus D upon D. This is known as componendo. Second one, A minus B divided by B will be equal to C minus D divided by D. This is known as dividendo concept. And if we divide this by this, we get A plus B divided by A minus B will be equal to C plus D divided by C minus D. This is known as componendo and dividendo rule. And this is the most important part, that if A by B is equal to C by D, then we can say that A plus B upon A minus B will be equal to C plus D upon C minus D. And this is very important. You should remember this. And you should solve few questions on this concept to understand how to use this concept, okay? This concept could be used in multiple ways, and this will simplify your solution very easily, okay? Now, apart from this, there is another concept, that if A by B is equal to C by D is equal to E by F and so on, then we can say that A plus C plus E divided by B plus D plus F, this will be same as A by B or C by D or E by F, okay? This will be same. Let's say this value is K, okay? Let's say this value is equal to K, then this will also be equal to K. And then we can say that PA plus QC plus RE divided by PB plus QB plus RC, this should be D and F. This will also be equal to K, okay? So बहुत ही अच्छे क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं इन पे, ठीक है? When you will practice this, इस कॉन्सेप्ट पे बहुत ही अच्छे क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं. Now remember, the denominator should not be equal to 0 here. None of the denominators should be equal to 0. Otherwise, it won't work. Otherwise, this relation won't work. All right. Now we can learn about the variation part. What is that variation part? That if A varies directly with B, then what do we say? Then we say that A is directly proportional to B. A varies directly with B, or A is directly proportional to B is denoted as this. Or we can say A is equal to K into B, where K is known as proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. Okay. So from there, what we can say that A by B is equal to K. Or we can also say that A1 by B1 will be equal to A2 by B2 will be equal to A3 upon B3, so on AN upon BN. Means the corresponding ratio of A and B will always be equal, will always be same, and this is also equal to K. All of these are equal to K. Then if it says that A varies indirectly with respect to B, or A is inversely proportional to B, then this is denoted as A is proportional to 1 by B, or what we can say AB is equal to K. Again, K is proportionality constant, which we can generalize and we can say A1 B1 will be equal to A2 B2 will be equal to A3 B3, so on till AN BN. All of these will be equal to K. Okay. So this is the relation between A and B if A is inversely proportional to B, or B is inversely proportional to A, or A is indirectly varies with B. Followed, sir, in profit and loss, what happens is profit percentage is loss percentage. Although that is not possible, but there is only one case where it's possible that profit and loss is equal to 0%. Okay. Float, that is only possible when profit percentage is equal to loss percentage is equal to 0%. Okay. Then comes the proportion concept. What is the proportion concept? That if A, B and C are in continued proportion, then we say that, what do we say? That A by B is equal to B by C, or we say that B square is equal to AC. Now here, remember here A is known as first proportion. A is known as first proportion. B is known as second proportion. And C is known as third proportion. Now, there are some very interesting facts regarding A, B and C. If any two values is given, how do we find the third value? Okay. So, let us say that mean proportion of A and B, or let's say x and y. Let's take two other variable or p and q, mean proportion of p and q. So second proportion, or we also call it mean proportion, second or mean proportion. So mean proportion is more popular. So let's write it down as mean proportion only. Okay. So it says mean proportion of P and Q will be equal to. So what do we say? It will be equal to P into Q. It will be equal to P into Q, PQ. But if it says that first proportion of P and Q, then this will be equal to, can you tell me what will be the first proportion of P and Q? Now in the first point you can see it says that mean proportion of P and Q, that means P is the first proportion, Q is the third proportion. Then mean proportion will be PQ. But if it's given that first proportion of P and Q means P is the second proportion or mean proportion, Q is the third proportion. In that case, the first proportion, which is A, what is A? A is B square by C. So this will be P square upon Q. Okay. Then comes the third point, which is third proportion. Third proportion of P and Q. Third proportion of P and Q, what does that mean? That P is the first proportion, Q is the mean proportion. Then what will be the third proportion? See, A is the first proportion, B is the second proportion. What is C? C is equal to A upon B square. So whenever it's given, that means P is the first, Q is the second proportion. So what will be the third proportion? Means what will be the value of C? C will be equal to A upon B square, or here it will be P upon Q square. So any two values could be given and it could be asked what is the first proportion, what is the mean proportion, what is the third proportion. So in each case, the method of solving that will be different. Okay, check the values. Let me know if you have any doubts. Let me know if you need any examples here, because this could be confusing. Okay. Okay, not required, examples not required. Okay, then I will move to the next part. If there are four terms which are in continued proportion, like if A, B, C and D are in continued proportion, then we say that A by B is equal to C by D. A by B is equal to C by D, where A is known as first proportion, B is known as second proportion, C is known as third proportion and D is known as fourth proportion. Okay. Okay then. So these were the concepts, these were the formulae that we need to know before we start solving questions from topics percentage, profit loss discount, ratio, proportion and variation. All right. So I hope this is clear to all of you guys. If you have any question, any doubts regarding any of the formulae that we discussed, then let me know in the feedback. Okay. So with that, we are done with our session today. I am going to be back tomorrow and we are going to discuss few more topics of arithmetic. Till then, thank you for watching. Bye bye.